Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Vault Hunters episode. And you are watching Undisturbed Potato. So, in today's episode, I am mainly going to go over what I've been doing, some of the builds, or a build, took me a little while. Building and doing things might take a little longer than usual just because school has started, and because of that, everything's gonna probably slow down just a bit. Today's episode, I wanted to go over some of our builds that we are using in the vaults, because I have been saying that I was gonna show it off, however, I have not. So I think this is a perfect time to show off what we've been doing along with everything else. And as I've been vaulting, I've been completing tons of bounties, so I decided just to lay them all out here, kind of nice little decoration, and we're gonna open it with you. Let's see, nothing in the backpacks, cool. I also did a bingo not too long ago that pushed me up into level 66, and this was a complete bingo. So this one's going to be really fun to open because it's going to have everything that we could ever ask for, or hopefully at least. So yeah, I think a good way to start it off is to show off what builds we have completed. So with that, as you can see, off in the distance, there is something just lingering. Looks pretty cool. If you look on the minimap, it is pretty huge, if I have to say so myself. Like, our pig is pretty big, but this dwarfs it. Same with our flower and our bee. They are not comparable at all. And look at the big bucket we had. Tiny. Our factory is huge. It's massive. 51 by 51. And as you could see, like, just this platform that's right there looks to be the same size. I think it's a little smaller if I remember when I was building it, but it is definitely taller because this goes, I think, 22 blocks up. This one's at, I want to say, about 65. Not including the eye that's on top. That is, I think, I don't even know, 22 in of itself. So yeah, I kind of like how our place is getting decorated slowly, so my goal is to continue making builds to decorate our area, and we'll slowly expand to other areas depending on what we're making. But yeah, this monstrosity that I just built is supposed to be where we're going to be putting our mob farm. Right now we are using the pig for the peaceful mobs, or passive I should say, and putting those terms there. Over in that one I want to be putting these mob cages to keep collecting loot. And since it's so big, I was thinking of putting quite a few more of those if I have the resources available for that, but at the same time making a few mob spawners from ice spawners and putting it inside. So we're gonna have to unlock that. So without further ado, let's go check this out. As you can see, as we're making our way over, you can see this ginormous pedestal and this eye, which looks amazing in my opinion. Making the little tentacles took a little while just because I have no clue what I'm doing when trying to make those things, so yeah. But something that I am a little proud of is how the teeth and the mouth came out. Yeah, this took me a little while just because I figured out that we do have some of these carpentry blocks that can create different shapes, and you could utilize it and put different blocks inside of it. And it looks like we're missing a piece here. Yep. Notice. So I gotta fix that, but other than that, we got this huge eye. If any of you guys play Terraria, you guys might have guessed that this was the Eye of Cthulhu, or at least one of the little tiny ones that it shoots out when it turns into stage 2. And that is a game that I do plan on making a series on, and I am seriously debating whether I want to do a seasonal series for Terraria. Since Halloween's going to be approaching, we could unlock different costumes in it, one of them being the Creeper. So, I think I might do that, and then I might bring another one around in December as well, just because the Christmas theme would go really well in Terraria. After all, they also have the Santa Claus and the Frost Legion and the effects from that. But I don't know. So Halloween, it might be Terraria, it might be Deceased. If you guys want to vote, make sure to leave a comment down in the video so that I can read it and see what you guys want to watch. And while you're there, make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you aren't already. So, this is the inside of the eyeball. It's just pure quartz. I had no clue what I was doing when I was first building this, but I just started adding things and then just kept on going, hoping that something will come out of it. So, yeah, kind of went with this terracotta and red concrete, which this took way more concrete than I anticipated. So yeah, this was very fun collecting, but because of the time that we spent, we have a really good looking eye. Like, these tentacles came out pretty good, and then the face is pretty good, and then I know it's supposed to be more round, but we're playing Minecraft, so I kind of like how it came out pretty blocky. And if we come down here, the original plan was to make this pedestal, or I was going to use this one because this is the old relic pedestal that we used to use. And I kind of like the design, so I replicated it. As you can see, plenty of mobs. Let's give them... Oh, got a few of them. Let's give them a nice little welcome for dropping by. But yeah, this building or this structure is the pedestal, and at first I was gonna put this eye and just rebuild it up here. However, as I was looking at it, kind of reminded me of Terraria or the Twins, and I was like, what if I just make Cthulhu? So yeah, I brought the guy back to life over here in Minecraft, and I thought it looked phenomenal. Okay, now that we are at base, I kind of want to open up all this stuff. I'm just going to open up all the bounties first. We don't really care about what we're going to be getting. It's all most likely going to be stored in this backpack. The only reason why I waited was just because I thought you guys would enjoy watching me open some of these crates, since I do a lot of vaulting offline and not with you guys. So, vaulting, yes. I have tried the Ascension Vault, and I got to the 5th vault and failed. I did not receive any embers, which kind of sucks, because apparently I found out while I was watching a stream that you got to get at least 6 vaults completed to get 1 ember, and then from there it's just like, it is not a linear amount that you get, not a linear increase. It's kind of exponential at a point. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing Ascension Vaults, and because of that, our XP bar is gonna be going through the roof. Because the last time I tried it and I got 5, as you can see, I think our level went from, I think I did it at like level 72, 71, and I got to 75. So yeah, it jumped 3 levels just completing 3 volts or 5 volts. And then of course these guys leveled me up at least 1 more. So yeah, that was, doing those volts will level you up like crazy. So I'm gonna do my best to reduce the XP gain by going into the config and hopefully reducing the XP gain, because I kind of don't want to be leveling up like crazy. I think that's a little annoying. So if I could reduce it, I will. If not, well, let's just say the next episode you guys watch might have me randomly at like 80s or 90s, which is absurd, but there's not much I can do about it. So without further ado, let's open these guys up. Okay, got some gear, some echo, I'll take it. And let's just rapid fire these. Nice. Take a quick look around. Echoes, black chromatic, some nice catalysts. Those are the bonus ones, which spawn chests randomly in every room. Love it. More catalysts, more chromatic, monies, and gear. Let's just pick all that up. Sweet. And let's open up the big boy crate. Let's see what we get. Ooh. This was, I think, if you talk to one of the developers, a perfect roll for loot. Because we got plenty of fruit, a lot of cards. Of course, we got a lot of resources because my deck is mainly a resource deck. So, got plenty of those. Gear, treasure key, and I think I saw a trinket. Yup, and a trinket. So, I think we got a max roll on our bingo crate, and I love it. Let's grab everything. And let's check out our spoils. So here, I thought, oh, it's because I'm carrying this here. I forgot. So yeah, let's organize it real quick. If we take a quick look, tons of chromatic, a few black chromatic, which I always appreciate. Those are quite pricey to make. A trinket, some focuses, tons of vault gold. That's probably the best benefit from doing the bingos. It's the amount of gold you get when you complete the crates, especially when you complete more than one line. It just increases the amount of gold. It's awesome. So yeah, looking at this, got a bonus living size 7. That's gonna be awesome. A little thing that I did to my Vault Hunters to make it a little bit more fun for me was that I went into the configs and I did change how the sizing works when you craft these guys. And for crafting them, I set the range higher because those are set to 10s every single time. But that's boring. It limits you. If you guys watch this, the YouTubers and the streamers, they could put X amount of catalysts, and on top of that, they have their companions that could increase those volts to insane amounts. So they just get tons and tons of loot, which we are not able to do. So my fix for that was adjusting the range from size 10 to, I think I lowered it to 4, and then I also increased it to, I think, 16 or 20. So the range is way higher, but if you craft a few 4s and you just keep gathering them over time, you can make some pretty insane crystals that can rival the ones made in the streamers' videos. Also, cheap way of doing it is also getting the chaotic vault rock, because that also just gives you 30 random modifiers, and if you're lucky you could get at least 15 to 20 that are bonuses. So just letting you guys know about that. Okay, so money, plenty of cards, amazing. I'll probably go through this by myself later. As for right now, I want to talk about our build. So I have a few sets that I do alternate between. This used to be the main set. Right now I am running a high damage hybrid build, but the main set before this one was utilizing magic or AP. So we had some pretty solid stats on our gear. As you can see, all of them have pretty decently high AP. I have not been working on this in a while, so the gear is a little weaker. But if I were to use all level 75 plus gear, then we could increase the AP by at least, let's see here, compared to our gear, this one we could at least add another 6, 5, and 5. So what's that? 16. So we could add about another 16 to 20 AP if we were to upgrade the gear. But yeah, this one I was using for our magic build, which if we take a quick look over here, let me double check I have everything saved here. Yep. I changed some things. Boom. And let's alternate real quick, just so I can show you guys. Here is our magic build. Whoa. Let's switch this around. That is our damage. So we'll do this. Come on this way. Grab these guys. Toss them on real quick. And heal up. But yes, if we look at our AP, it now has increased to 180, which is pretty crazy if you ask me, while we still have reasonably high defense and health, and a slight increase in mana, which is always nice. If we take a quick look at our damage, this sword is fantastic, so there's that. But as I wanted to take a quick look at the abilities in the magic build, I do have max points into Nova, specifically the Poison Nova, just because I did pair it with the talents over here and maxing out Toxic Reaction. Well, why did I do this? It's because in Toxic Reaction, there's a chance of a Poison Nova being casted upon a mob's death that has been affected by poison. So if you cast Poison Nova and then a mob dies, these are the percentages of the likelihood of the Poison Nova being casted again off a mob death. And so as you can see, having it maxed out, it's roughly a 90% chance, which is really damn high. And if you're killing huge hordes, all you gotta do is press R. It's gonna affect the horde. One of them's gonna die, two of them's gonna die, a lot of them are gonna die. It's gonna keep popping Poison Nova, stacking all that damage and poison, and it is very effective when you're running bingos and you gotta kill, or you need to do multi-kills of up to 20 plus. This is the way to do it. Same with the flawlessly kill and primitively kill. You just cast your Poison Nova and let it do its thing. So yeah, this build is heavy on the Poison Nova. That's why it's maxed out. Have a few points into Vein Miner just because I do like to utilize Vein Miner in the overworld. I might be removing some of the points because I have finally made tools that have high enough mining speeds where I don't really need to care that much. So we might be allocating these 3 points elsewhere if I come back to this build. Over here in Dash, we have 4 points into it. It might be a little excessive for the Elytra I am running, but so far I might keep it as 4. If I run into issues, I might lower it down to 3. So that'll be another point to put somewhere else. And if you look at our heal, I do have 4 points into it. The +1 is because of a card that we do have in our deck. But other than that, I usually run the heal at 4 points. Hunter. A lot of people say this is good for noobs, but even though I'm getting slightly better at vaulting and looting and completing stuff has been getting easier, I still take it just because it does help, especially when I'm trying to do full bingo cards and I'm just running around, not caring where the pylons are, just making sure I complete it. And when I do, my favorite thing to do is put fruit in my hand, running around, spamming Hunter, hopefully trying to find another pylon so I could get the hell out. So yeah, I like it. Comes in clutch in some scenarios. Of course, there's the treasure goggles which do the same thing, but if you want this, utilize it. And if you do, make sure you grab a potion or a brew with the cooldown reduction, because that'll reduce it by 80% every time you drink it. So that 10-minute wait will be a 2-minute wait. That is awesome. So yeah, another point that I have is in Taunt. This was just experimenting. I do not know if I like it that much, if I'm being honest. Haven't really utilized it that often. So we'll see what happens there. Mana Shield, it's been pretty good if I'm being honest, because here, some of the damage that you take does get redirected to your mana pool, which is not bad, because here, that's 2 hearts getting redirected, or 20%. So, depending on which mob hits you, that can save your life. And I kind of like it. So, if you want to increase the absorption, of course you level it up, but right now I have it as level 2, and if I were to move points around, this might be getting an upgrade, because look at that. 30% for 6 mana. I think you could get, what, 50% at 10? Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Haven't done it yet. But that's pretty solid if you ask me. Of course, I also utilize Storm Arrow because it is OP, just like everybody else using it. It is super effective for completing bingo cards that require you to flawlessly kill tanks and champions. This is my go-to. And then another main ability that we do utilize is Fireball. Right now, my wand that I'm using does have an addition of Fireball, and that's the reason why it is at 9 instead of the max cap of 8. If I remember correctly, I think the max level that you could do on any ability is 17. So, I can only imagine the amount of damage that gets dealt with a level 17 Fireball. But yeah, as you can see, the damage here is 362 per Fireball, and it has an explosion radius of 6.5 blocks, which if you use Prime Amplification, I'm pretty sure you could get that to like around 10 blocks, which is crazy. But yeah, let me show off the damages. So here, this is 362 damage per strike, and you could get about 2.5 strikes, or let's just say 2 strikes per second, for a total of 22 strikes if you utilize the Storm Arrow correctly, which is insane damage output. And if we come over here to Poison Nova, as you can see, every time I use it, it does do 344 damage over a period of 8 seconds. Yeah, that's not instant, but that is still a consistent damage that's being dealt. And as I said, if you are trying to do primitively kill, this is perfect because you just use it and then walk away. And since you're not consistently using mana, it will proc and kill, which can help you out tons. So yeah. If we take a quick look over here, of course I still have max points in speed. And then if you look at haste, I only have 2 points in haste because it is pretty nice. I might be lowering it down to 1 after all. I have a mining speed card in my deck and I just upgraded it, so this might not be necessary. We'll see. I might test it around in my own build before I do anything crazy. And then of course I have max points into intelligence, have a few points into prudent just because this has come in handy a few times, and then I got a few points into prime amplification, and of course I got points into arcana. So yeah, that is the build for my magic setup, or AP. It's pretty good. I like it. It's done me very well in a lot of bingos. Kind of like it a little bit more than the pure damage, just because I could get away with a lot more and building and whatnot, you know, utilizing the little methods that the streamers use, you know. Kind of pretty easy to duplicate all that or replicate it with this setup. Okay. So before I go into anything, I'll just talk about the other 2 sets that I have before I talk about the next build. So this one is my Soul Chance set, because what I do like to do is buy gear and random things from here, because you could get some really solid things. Some of my favorite things is buying certain focuses, like the opportunistic, and or buying cards from here. So, oh, and the occasional trinket, and that costs quite a lot of soul shards. So, whenever I want to buy stuff, and I'm low on soul shards, this is the set that I go to get as much shards as possible. So I'll put everything on real quick, just so you guys can see what the max amount of soul chance that I do get from this set. Okay, whoops. And then, yep, we gotta switch this out. This also includes the trinket, so if you don't have this trinket, it does decrease a little bit. So if we look at our set, or yeah, let's look at our set percentage right now, and then we'll add the trinket. So if we look at soul chance, we are currently at 281%, which is pretty nice. And then if we add this, we go up to 562% soul chance, which is kind of insane. If you pair this with an all in soul boosted crystal, I think at my level I'm getting about what, well, without this being random, if it stayed size 10, you could put about 8 boosters in it, which is another 200%, so you'll be at like 760%, which is insane, because whenever I go into a vault with this set without any soul boosters, I get about, when I kill less than 400 mobs, I get at least 5,000. When I kill like 500-600 mobs in a vault, I could get up to like 8,000 or 9,000 soul shards in one go. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. As you can see, the sword just makes it so much better because this is a legendary soul chance modifier that is maxed out, and so is the one. It is also another legendary modifier. And if we take a quick look over here, I also got pretty lucky. This one has a low soul chance, but it's not bad at all. I'm thinking about utilizing this. Oh, whoops, wrong thing. But yeah, we have pretty decent soul chance overall on everything, and I hope to be able to get more legendaries and increase the percentages even higher, because I think I want 1,000% soul chance set. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, that's what I want. It would be amazing. Okay, so one last quick look to see the total of 562%. Let's take all this off, put it back in here. Yep, pretty sure it was this. And can't forget, there was one more thing that we had on us. It was the little pendant. Boom. So removed all that we don't need. And in here we have our looting set. This set, I need to think a few times about what I'm gonna do, because it originally was these 4 pieces, but as you can see, I have 2 pieces of gear with legendary modifiers on them, and as you can see on this one, plus 22 item quantity. That is insane. And then if you look at this one, plus 27 item rarity. So I don't know which one I want to use, because they are both extremely good. I just think the common one up here is the one that I might be using, just because look at that percentage. 27, it's up there. Has item quantity, has health, has really solid stats, and I haven't even needed to modify it. So this might become the new leggings. This was our previous one, which was pretty solid, but does not compare to that. And then of course our chest plate has item rarity. This one also has some item rarity and some more with quantity. So if I were to put on this set, hold our trusty little sickle, and check out the stats without adding this one, or where is it? This, without adding those 2. Actually, let's just grab them just in case, so we can see the percentages change. But if we take a quick look without adding the trinkets, item quantity is 39.2%, which is crazy. Item rarity 113.9%. That's absurd. But if we were to put the Lucky Goose photo, boom, we just increased the rarity to 163.9%, which I don't think you need it to be that high, but if you really wanted to, you could get it there. And then here you could see how it affects the loot rarity in the chest. Treasure chest not affected, which makes no sense. We don't have treasure chests anymore. And then here, you put the item quantity, which then goes from 39 to 64%, which is really good because it increases the amount of loot from the chest. So, usually when I run the vaults, well, without using this, but using other ones, this is probably going to be the setup. Using this gear along with this necklace, just because it gives me more and I already have 100% item rarity. I don't think I need it to be over 100%. I think I like my odds like that. But yeah, and I don't know if you could get any item quantity or rarity on a little accessory, but that is our gear. Let's do this. Put away these two guys real quick. And this set, I will be needing to modify it and enchant it just to make sure I could get the best possible numbers. And then now for the set that I am the most happy to talk about, because it is my main set. Let's see here, let's do this. Okay, it's the same. Let's restore our old loadout. This is my favorite set just because, like, when you use magic non-stop, you kind of could get bored with it, and using the same setup does not feel that fun. So, I like smacking mobs with a sword. It is very fun. I'm pretty sure some of you guys are the exact same. So, I created a hybrid build between damage and AP that works insanely well, in my opinion. And this is the gear that you guys saw me with, what I had equipped, because I really enjoy this. Let's put this back on, and it just is so much better just because I got very lucky and fortunate with the legendary modifiers that I do have. And of course, I think over here I have another lucky hit legendary modifier with high AP. So I don't really need to worry too much about this. At most, I'll be losing a little bit of cooldown reduction because I could probably still put the increased ability power on that. So it's not bad, and I'm happy. Not to mention I could always repair this. We have plenty of repairs available. So yeah. So this is my current set. And the reason why I like it so much is because it has everything that I could ask for. Health, armor, and my favorite, the increased damage. Because, well, I'll just keep going over it. But yeah, every single piece does have increased damage, and now that we have entered a new higher level, I need to get me some more level 6 or 75 gear, because the increased damage can now go up to 28%, which if I could get that on every piece of gear, or at least 25, our damage is gonna go insane. Because right now with this gear, if I press this, our damage output says 453.9 damage. Which, if you smack around mobs inside the vault, you're more or likely doing 180 to 190 damage per smack. This is just because when you lucky hit, you can, or let me go over the abilities and talents and then I'll explain how the damage works. But yeah, this is my setup. Over here for abilities, we are with 3 points in Vein Miner. However, I'm thinking about reducing that to 1 point because we don't really use it that much anymore. As I said earlier, Dash 4 points. Haven't really had an issue at 4 points, but some people say 3 is better. 4 points in heal, just like last time. The extra 1 point is from a card in our deck. Boom, Empower. I have it at 7 points. I don't have it maxed out just yet, but I have specialized into Entropic Bind. This is so good because in a radius of 4 blocks around me, any mob that gets close or into that radius will automatically slow down. So the number one thing that I hate in Vault Hunters are the baby everythings. They suck, they're fast, they do the same damage. I hate them with a passion. Always have, always will, even in normal vanilla Minecraft, hate the concept of the baby mobs or the monsters. Yeah. The baby pigs and all those, pretty cool. But baby monsters make absolutely zero sense in my head, and I hate them. So, having Entropic Bind is a godsend because it'll slow all of them down to where you could smack them around and get rid of them without any issue. Here we're also utilizing Javelin. Of course, it says Javelin +2. The +2 are from a pair of leggings that I have on, which is awesome. And my goal is to get Javelin as high as possible for an end game set. I want to know how that works because this thing does damage. It's maxed out at 2 points. I have it in Scatter Javelin, and if we come over here to Talents, I have 3 points in Ethereal, so there's a 45% chance of throwing javelins without using any mana, which is awesome because it procs pretty often. And I have the rest of the points into damage, so 70% plus 25% is roughly 95%, so the javelins are doing roughly 95% of my total damage every time I'm throwing it, which is roughly 200 damage. I don't know, it's something crazy. That's per javelin, and right now we have 6 javelins that fly around, which is crazy because if you do 200 times 6, that's 1200 damage that gets thrown around from the javelins. And if you angle it correctly, whenever you're fighting a champion, a boss, or a tank, you could kind of one-shot a few of them or take them down half health with just one throw, which is crazy because if you get lucky and you hit 2 ethereals in a row and then 1 normal cost javelin, you could basically kill a boss with little to no mana at all, which is awesome. So yeah, super good. As I said, Hunter, I don't know why the streamers say it's more for noobs. I think it's very practical all around because I really hate the Hunter that you get from killing mobs. I really dislike that. This is just better. 1 point in it shows everything. So if you get a little lazy and just kind of want to coast through the vaults looking for certain things, this is perfect. Mana Shield here, I only have 1 point in it. It does amazing, but as I get more points and level up, I'd probably put more points into it because it is very effective. Something that I am testing out is Battle Cry, just to increase the amount of damage, which from the last time I tried it out, is pretty good. I don't know. I still need to experiment some more. And then Storm Arrow, you just have to use it because it's so good right now. And yeah, right now I only have 4 points into it. I might add another point at some point just so it could increase the damage. That helps. And then we are still utilizing Fireball, but this one's only at 7 points, which this one-shots mobs, but not all of them. So you got to be a little careful, but I don't really care. After all, I said I'm just using an AD build. This is just a hybrid. So basically, the Fireball and Storm Arrow is more if I kind of get lazy and I just want to use it. They'll help me kill mobs, but for the most part, the Entropic Bind, the Javelin, and me smacking these mobs is the main way to go. Because we are also using Lucky Hit talents, which gives us Mana Steal and Fatal Strike, which is awesome because the Fatal Strike that we have adds 150% damage. And if you saw our 450 damage earlier, that explains why I like using it. But yeah, I think our total lucky hit chance with my current set is around 20%, so it procs pretty often, believe it or not. But yeah, over here in our talents, besides our Lucky Strike, we have 3 points into Arcana. It's pretty useful. Speed, some haste, and then here I did it different by putting 4 points into Strength and 4 points into Intelligence. So our AP and damage do pretty well for themselves. But yeah, so now let's get back to our build or our set and talk about the damage. So because this is a near maxed out damage sword with a legendary modifier, this thing alone does around 82.5, I'd just say 83 damage per smack, which is insane. And then every piece of gear adds roughly 20%. So here we got 21, 28, that's 48, 68. What is that? 89% increased damage, which is insane. That's the reason why we do so much damage. As you can see, 89, and then this, that's the additional damage. That's why I say it's around 180. It's like 170 damage per smack every time I hit a mob. But if you crit, you could do up to like 211. And then not to mention if you hit and do a lucky hit, that's also like 217 damage on top of the extra 150%. And that's where this number comes from. If you land a lucky hit using this sword, you can do a max of 453.9 damage per smack, which, as I said earlier, if you max out all the lucky stats or lucky hit chances, I think with the current rates of all the gear, I could get about 25%, maybe 30. And then if you get lucky enough to get a trinket, which one is it? I know it's one of you guys. Yeah, where is it? Come on, this guy, the clover. If you get lucky enough to get the clover and add that, then you could probably be at 37, 38% lucky hit. And that's not including if you actually try building a pure lucky hit build, because then you could also add it to your deck, and then that one has a variety of ways to increase the lucky hit. So then you could do insane damage way more consistently. But yeah, I also have, as you can see, lucky hit. That's the reason why we do so much damage, because we have some here, we have some up here. Unfortunately, none over here, and I don't really feel like tinkering with it. I think it's pretty solid, but if I were to get another legendary damage sword, I would probably try getting lucky hit on it just to increase our odds. But yeah, this is my favorite build so far because it integrates both the AP's usefulness and lets you just run around smacking mobs, because I'm pretty sure that's what we like about Minecraft, being able to run around and just smack mobs. And if we could one-shot them quite frequently, even better, which this build does amazingly. And how I said, I'm trying to figure out how Battlecry works, but it does increase the amount of damage, so utilizing Mana Shield, Entropic Bind, and Battlecry with the lucky hit percentages and just all damage armor, you can kill, I think it's expert, challenging, whichever one of those two is the second strongest. You could kill those bosses super easily. The only bosses that I still struggle with at those levels would be the spider bosses, just because the spider bosses are completely atrocious. Their AI's AIDS, and the fact that they just jump every single time, I hate it. But if you don't encounter that, the only boss that you'll have an issue with fighting is impossible bosses, just because some of them do absurd damage and have insane health. But other than that, with this build, you can go around the vault doing whatever you want as you please with zero issue. And for the trinkets, I always run wings, and for the secondary, I mix it up with whatever I want. My favorite thing to do is use the crystal ball because it doubles the mana, so whenever I'm just running in the vault doing bingos, I don't really have to care about my mana. But as you can see, that's dying, so I'm utilizing this to get me more mana regeneration, which basically does what that does, but a little less effective. But yeah, those are my current builds that I run and what I use to complete bingos and everything. And just a quick little overview of the gear. I'll slowly hover over it so you guys can see what stats are on each piece. But yeah, with all these different things, I could probably increase the ability powers and armors and damages, but that's going to be quite a while, just because, as you can see, this has level +2 to Scatterjav, which I have yet to get another pair of pants to have. So that it's gonna be a while before I try swapping those out, but everything else could probably have some pretty big changes. Alongside our sword, this boy's insanely good. And then just to go over our little chromatic steel thingy, because it does do really well. And I think the next episode, I'm gonna create the episode just building a brand new Shatterer. And this is what we're gonna be taking into the vaults. So, if you want to see how I create my gear, then tune into the next episode, because I will go over the very beginning steps and the process I go through to making one of these hammers, which this is a really solid hammer. However, now that I'm at level 76, I am debating, or easy as this, I'm gonna be running some vault guys, and when the time comes to make the next episode, if I'm still under level 80, I will be making a black chromatic. However, if I am above level 80, then I will be making the next tier of hammer available, just because it increases our capacity, and I want to see how many jewels I could slam onto it. So, next episode, depending on my level, is going to be the type of hammer I'll be working on, since this guy is going to die super soon. So yeah, you guys will get to see my thought process and how I go about to making the new hammer. And then at the end of that episode, I will be making a ton of swords. I have been working on this and doing it on my own, and I have increased the proficiency up to 10.9%. So once we craft our insane hammer next episode, I will craft quite a few swords and see where we go with that. So with that, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the builds that I run and have created, and hopefully if you guys were to use it, it helps you guys as well, because everybody has different playstyles, and maybe one of these few things will suit your needs or help create a base of an idea of what you would like to do. So with that, guys, thank you guys for watching. As I said earlier in the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. And until next time, peace out.